streaming now. All right. Okay, going in live. All right, just setting up right now. Let's see. Stream here. If you Alright, copy this, do that. Hopefully I'm not too loud. This should be fine. Okay, just setting everything up. Need to add the tags here. Okay. Making sure everything is working. All right. Cool, cool. This music is really nice. All right. No, that's the wrong thing. It's not what I'm trying to do. Trying to go into here. should be done with that right now. There we are. And okay, let me get started. Also, good evening to anyone who stopped on by or just hopped on. There we go. Today, I'm going to be drawing Baba Chops here, Cyber AU version. As soon as I figure out a decent pose. And let me work on the pose first. Maybe not there. I'll make hers a very simple pose. Also, I thought about streaming earlier, but I was trying to test out OBS a little bit. And not to mention to test out if I can record myself playing a video game. The test only lasted for at least about a minute, 20 seconds. And the recording turned out pretty good. Of course, the thing is, though, is that I don't have a good mic. Yeah. My mic is mostly only on my headphones, which what I need is a real desk mic. So hopefully, eventually, I'll put in the money to actually buy one of those. I know there's some, I don't need one that's so overly advanced. Just at least one that'll get the job done and it'll work. That'll be good enough for me. Go with a very simple pose for Baba here. It's amazing how my style changed a little bit. But also, there were some other chores I had to do before streaming. Of course, washing my hair was very important. And plus, I was trying to decide on what to stream draw today. And since I did those the full body color variants of the Smiling Critters, I figured, I'll get started on the Nightmare Critters. 'Cause why not? Shrink it down a little bit. Plus, I was also having a bit of a hard time trying to find music to play in the background without getting hit with the whole YouTube copyright thing. I'm actually really liking this music. So, hope you all are doing well. Hope you're at least doing decently. Also hoping that you all start staying hydrated, since the heat has already caught up. And, oh yeah, the game I actually tested out recording on, it was, Stardew Valley, since I already had it, you know, on my desktop anyway. So far, so good. Then comes the big question of, do I want to stream myself playing a game? Or, well, honestly, I guess the best thing for me to do, I try not to, I don't want to go too big from the very beginning on the very start. As for now, I'm thinking about just do simple recordings. Maybe recordings that'll last about 30 minutes or so. But like I said, what I need is a more of a good or at least a decent microphone. Cause yeah, using this mic for recording, I do not have the loudest I don't have the loudest voice. I mean, luckily my headphones are pretty good. I'm really glad I paid for these. But like, yeah, I can easily just go to Walmart or something and buy a... I know that Walmart actually does have decent mics for at least $28. So I can go ahead and buy that a little later on. Let's see, I'll fix that up in a little bit. Now, it's funny when I check my previous recordings of my streams, end up getting little messages here and there saying that if you get monetized, it might affect your finances of YouTube because there are certain songs on there that are still under copyright. And I'm like, oh, well, luckily I'm not that big yet. And I probably won't be that big for a long, long time. I'm still a very, very small creator. That's alright. Treating this as a little hobby of mine. It's pretty nice. Well, at the same time, it's something that I really love to do. The only thing I can do whenever I record myself is I pray that the recording gets through. That's all I can do. Oh boy. Honestly, another reason why I couldn't stream a little bit earlier today, I did have a slight headache. Well, not slight if I had to take a certain medication for it. Like, oof. Basically, I needed more resting time. That's the story of me. Nowadays, I have to be careful on how I sleep. Otherwise I wake up with a terrible migraine. Let's see, what else can I talk about? Let's see. Oh, I finally took some of the games off of my Steam's wish list. Finally bought a couple of them. Let's see, I bought Supermarket Simulator. That'll be interesting game for me to play. Then I also bought hang on. What else did I buy today? Bought a little game called Eclipsium. I also bought Crime Scene Cleaner. I bought Lobotomy Corporation. And a game called Nyasense E, or Nyansensei. Not sure how to pronounce that. I bought many other games that I haven't even touched yet. Goodness. See, I thought about also buying Power Wash Simulator, the sequel. I decided to hold off on that just for a minute. Well, just for a little bit. Because there's still some content, let's see, DLC content in the first Power Wash Simulator game that I haven't touched on yet. So I figured I might as well finish that off first. Amazing. The minute I started drawing these cyber critters, I don't do the original, that whole, I call it the bean-shaped anatomy that they got going on. Kinda just went into my own flow of it. Also came across very old fan art from 2024. That's when I started. And I still kept going with it. Also, before streaming, I make sure to actually give myself a real lunch. Wait for the headache to go away, and then start feeling so much better. As I never want to stream while having a migraine. Well, more of a headache and also a neck ache. Oof. I would not be able to concentrate at all. Also, I gotta start filling people in about where this AU is going. Mostly I've only been drawing the artwork of it. I do have a comic for it going on. It's gonna be a very slow pace though. Mostly because just so I don't hit burnout with it. But also, having to take care of certain things IRL. Mostly job-wise. It's a lot better right here. Although, when it comes to my job, I'm not gonna say too much, but yeah, the big changes are coming. Mostly by the end of this month. And oh boy, the games that I bought, I really want to try some of them out. Mostly on my own time, just to see how they all play out. Like I said on repeat, once I buy myself a decent mic, maybe I'll start recording myself playing the video games. Also placing them here on my YouTube channel too. And then maybe you can actually hear my voice more clearly, as I know that my mic right now is making me sound like I'm talking through underwater or in a toaster. Water with me, just in case. Always keep yourself hydrated. Especially how the weather's been doing. Although granted, where I live, we get very hot weather. Odds are, we might get a rainstorm that follows right after. It might be a while before that happens, but it always seems to happen after a very hot days or hot weeks. hair a little too big. Go with that. Hey, I love the whole synthwave 1980s vibe. Squash it just a wee bit. Press it down. Or should I make it slightly bigger? No, I think that's fine. Make it a little bit lighter. Check on the music, make sure it's still going. Cool. Sure, OBS is still doing its thing. Nice. Oop, wrong pin. A little tidbit when I mentioned making some big changes by the end of the month for myself. Well, I wouldn't call it big, it's just that it needed to be done. Although, I might as well, you know what, I might as well try to at least mention it to the very few who are watching. Yeah. IRL, I've been very busy. And, I've been trying to keep my own, mental health in check and all that. As well as trying to keep my own physical health in check. Probably not doing a good job if I just woken up with a headache this morning. But yeah, let me just say I need a job change. So like yeah. I think that's all I'm gonna talk about right now. It's supposed to be a nice chill stream. But I am looking forward to trying out some of these games that I bought. See, I even got Slay the Princess. I bought a lot of games, and thank God for the Steam sales going on. Just gonna try to decide what I can play on my downtime. You know, sometimes I can't tell if this might end up being a very short stream or not. Mostly because Baba really doesn't have that much detail. I drew her. Which honestly is perfectly fine by me. Either create characters with plenty of details or some with very less. Creates a nice variety. Ooh, excuse me. It's just Zoe. Hello, hello. Welcome to the stream. Just doing a nice evening chill stream today. Well, when I say today, probably also means either it's lunchtime or breakfast time for some people. Make this a little bit more common. I'm drawing Baba Chops today. Or at least the AU version of her. And as I said a little bit earlier, I would have started streaming, earlier in the day, but I was a bit busy. Also waiting for the headache to go away. That 1980s synthwave. Even though I was born in the 90s, my family still loves to listen to this stuff. And I ain't complaining. sure to at least save it. Close the Steam window. There we go. And fill in the gaps. I mentioned this on my other stream. Another game I thought about trying to get back into. It's called Voices of the Void. It's one of those indie games. And it is very interesting. And when I first played it, it was during... let's see, I believe it was during late winter. However, I didn't count on it having different types of events that would go in the game depending on the type of season it would be. Because in that game, you're set out to like a open field facility full of satellite dishes, and you're basically trying to capture signals from outer space. Hence, Voices of the Void. But the devs decided to put in different types of events that would be happening in the game, just to keep things fresh. And when I first played that game, Voices of the Void, I got the event of Krampus, which, of course, played it during late winter. And, yeah. Kinda scared me a little bit, because the way it goes is you have to buy certain supplies to get rid of Krampus. And the thing about that is, after looking up what you actually need, you have to spend a lot of money to get these items to get rid of them, so you can, you know, do your astronomer work. But my goodness, it was not easy. I think that was around the time when I decided to take a break from it, because I don't think the game is fully finished just yet. Of which, that's fine. That's perfectly fine. I mean, that kind of makes it fun that the developer wants to constantly keep making updates to the game while still letting people play it. what got me into Voices of the Void. Oh, it's free to download. It's on the gaming site Itch.io. What drew me into the game Voices of the Void is because one of my favorite YouTubers was playing it. He's making a full-blown series about it. And yeah, that game is very interesting. Yeah, fix up some stuff here and there. But also, the game I'm really looking forward to playing is the Lobotomy Corporation. If anyone don't know what that game is about, you're a manager who has to manage your own team, looking after different anomalies. Basically, kind of like what the SCP Foundation does. And after watching, let's see, a few streamable gameplays of that game, yeah, a lot of stuff can go wrong if you're not careful. Which is kind of why they have the option to start all over. Let's see here. Make this slightly darker. But yeah, anything with lore like that definitely captured my interest. Okay, let's add in some shadows. More of a gray. See how this would work. And oh yeah, one of my big interests has always been I've been fixated on the SCP Foundation as a whole. Because I knew about that series for many years. And for those who are still around, let's see, SCP is basically, well, yeah, a giant foundation that captures anomalies that are roaming around our modern day society. And what's interesting, it could be anything from certain objects to even the severe changes of weather to even a person having different unique abilities to otherworldly entities. actually made short movies or, yeah, short films featuring the SCP Foundation. It'd be so cool if they can actually get a theater release or a theater movie. Or bleh, movie in theaters. Another cool thing about the SCP Foundation, all of their stories are written from people all over the world. And basically, if your story's good enough, then it'll be added to their catalog. And I love hearing about communities like that. As for my favorite SCPs, that's pretty hard to choose. Yeah, it's pretty hard to choose. I think now they went up to number over 8,000 SCPs by now. Some of those stories become even more lore-driven, which is pretty cool. Started explaining more and more about where some of these entities have been coming from. You know, a funny thing, let's see, I know so much lore into SCP that if my friends end up asking me, okay, which SCP is the one with the giant water snake? I'm like, SCP-3000. Yeah, some of the numbers I already know by heart. Although, if I can't remember a number, the least I can remember is their class name. Somewhat. Like the SCP, the never-ending pizza box, or the coffee machine, or even the soda machine too. Well, not the soda machine, more the Coca-Cola bottle. And it's a lot of fun watching people's first-time reactions to SCP. Actually, there is one SCP that I would never forget. Oh, there's a couple of them, but let's see. I think it's SCP-E is for Eternity. That one's one freaky story, but told in a very brilliant way. For that story of that SCP, picture yourself, you're on a large deserted island with just one lonely house, a couple palm trees, and women who are very robotic. The thing is, though, you can't leave the island, and yeah, you can never die. And at first, it seemed like a nice little paradise where you can never die on a nice tropical island until you realize, yeah, you still can't leave the island. And the women you're talking to are basically robots. And that's when you realize the concept of time is still passing by, but you're still stuck there with nothing changing. And it's getting to the point where so many thousands upon thousands of years are going by that you either built machines, you destroyed machines, you rebuilt the robotic women, you tore them down again, and then suddenly millions of years have passed. And it's like, okay, wow. Let's see, the SCP-3001, the red dot, that one was a good one. Like, you end up in a void dimension, really. And the more time you spend in there, the more your body starts breaking apart. And all you have there as your little companion is an unmoving, blinking red dot. Won't spoil the ending of that story, but it's like, yeesh. We're on the topic of SCPs. There's also SCPs that seem utterly ridiculous, but still very dangerous in its own right. Like, there's so many numbers to remember. But there is an SCP toilet paper dispenser that can go nuclear if you don't tear off a number of toilet paper rolls. Or toilet paper sheets. I feel sorry for the operatives who have to control that one. Let's see. There's also an SCP that's a steel box that will basically insult you, and you can't help but try to smash it or, well, mostly break it apart. But you try to smash it or try to break it to get it to shut up, but then you can get so overly exhausted due to the high anger that this box is making you have. Then there's an SCP that's actually a sentient mailbox that would stalk you. And it's basically a mail yandere. I am not making this up. See, there's car SCPs that you're not allowed to go down this certain road that the Foundation managed to block off from other civilians. Because there's a car SCP that tries to murder people by running them over. Oh yeah, and SCP-3000 is the giant water eel, actually. And the closer you get to it, the more you start literally forgetting yourself to a point where you're forgetting your existence, that it swallows you up, and you're actually getting the memories of the previous person that got swallowed up from that thing. So that one's a bit terrifying. Let's see, there's the SCP where it's a song on a bloody sheet of paper, and the musical notes are written in blood. Sorry, little content warning. Written in blood, and it tries to force you to finish the song. Although the song can never be finished. Let's see, what else? Concentrate a little bit on this. there's a lot of very weird SCPs out there. There's even one that's like an SCP that's a giant painting of a graffiti of an owl, and it's literally a bird of prey. Let's see here, what other stuff I talk about. Speaking of more anomalies, one of my favorite artists is I'm not sure if you've heard of him. Is Trevor Henderson. He's the artist who made the entity Siren Head and the cartoon cat and all the other creatures that he made. Yeah, his artwork is really good. It's kind of too bad they people kind of did Siren Head a bit dirty. So now he's asking people not to feature Siren Head in too many indie games now, which is rather sad. I like that he's still making dark artwork and all that. Goodness, I can imagine them making a... Actually, I can imagine them. I can imagine them making a cool movie featuring one of Trevor Henderson's creations. With his permission, of course. Goodness, I still gotta see Kane Pixel's backrooms. Well, probably did miss out on it in the theaters. Hopefully it's still there in the theaters. And luckily there is a movie theater nearby I can go to. Oop. I need you to be a bit darker. It's a wee bit darker over here. Get myself out a little reference. Let's see here. How did I do the shadowing on you? Yeah, that's pretty good. Still not light enough. Oh, even lighter. Checking out the music real quick. Sure everything is still running. And yes, it is. Cool. Really liking this music. Get that over here. I'll figure that out. Post. I can start talking about what certain movies I like. Oh, just a second. Give me 1 second here, folks. Just gotta check out something real quick. Not from there. Hang on, everyone. I will be right back real quick. Just gotta take care of something. BRB. Okay, I'm back. Sorry for the long wait. Let's see what I can do from here. Still got plenty of music going on. Where was I? Okay. Oh, there we go. Let's see. That should be a little bit lighter. Just checking on the music here. There we go. Sure, this might end up being a shorter stream than most. That is if I want to go on ahead and go all out. Then. Oh boy, once I start doing Simon Smoke. It may take me a little bit of... I'll be like a very big streaming sesh. Also, to those who already know about my stuff or know me on both Twitter and Tumblr and also Blue Sky, I was very surprised. I'm very happy that that you and other people really like my Smiling Critters OC, my OCs. Like, yeah, it's amazing that I've been working on those OCs for, since the, let's see, since the beginning. I really gotta start talking about them a lot more. Because the concept for my Smiling Critters OCs is, let's see. The thing about them is, they went to an art school or a music school? Well, more of a university. University, really, but And yeah, their humble beginnings are rather very sad. Especially for one of my OCs named Mary Melody. She's also a little sheep. Well, by sheep standards, it all depends on what you mean by little, but I digress. And yeah, this school that they went to was from possibly years ago, or maybe a couple of years ago. It was a school for critters who, let me just say, weren't on their best behavior. Let me just go with that. Basically a reform school. And how my OCs met in that school, well, I try to tell an interesting story. Yeah, I'll touch in a little bit more about them very soon. But still, I'm very happy that people find them very interesting. Guess I had mentioned the names of them. I think I mentioned them in previous streams. But let's see, my first, yeah, they're my very first Smiling Critters OCs. They were the first ones I created. Mary being the number one. See, there's Mary Melody. She's also a sheep, like a very dark blue sheep. Very blue. See, there's Minka, or Minky. She's a monkey. Then Lionel Lynxlace is Snowy Lynx. So I get the feeling, yeah, I think I already explained that in previous streams. Eventually I'll stream draw them on year 2. Once I have an idea on what to draw for them. But yeah, I'm glad people really like them. Yes, I don't know why. Nowadays, I'm trying to fight this feeling. Nowadays, I get slightly nervous or have anxiety when posting. When it comes to posting my own artwork. Either be it original or, yeah, definitely fandom related. I guess it's because nowadays you just don't know how anyone's going to react. There have been so many people nowadays who would react first with emotions and then think logically later. And it doesn't matter if it's well, actually it does matter, but even if it's drawing that's where nothing is happening. Or when the quote-unquote no fun police comes in. It's like, oh goodness, now you gotta be careful of what you post nowadays. I mean, sure, still be mindful about what you're posting, but sometimes the reactions can be taken to a wee bit too much of an extreme. Yeah, sure. Sometimes thinking with emotions, it happens. Sometimes there are certain limits. Then I mentioned that I enjoyed Smiling Critter since 2024. Yeah. And to tell you the truth, I'm enjoying every minute of it. No complaints from me, and I don't regret it. It's honestly been a while since I've been heavily inspired to draw some fan art content again. Or get that hyperfixation. I have now become my muse as of late. And no complaints. And a lot of people, sometimes I see this on Tumblr. Or, yeah, been seeing this everywhere. Like, you're this old. They are talking to some other artists, but I know eventually I'll be hit with this question. You're this old and you're drawing this stuff? Yep. The hyperfixation and the whole fandom thing, it never ends. It really doesn't truly end. Especially if you hit a certain age bracket. I mean, there's millions of people who get fixated on sports. That's basically a fandom within itself. You know? And besides, why should you give up, like, doing something that you enjoy or having a hobby just because you hit a certain older age? Like I said, I have friends who are entering into their 40s. A couple of them are already in their 40s, and they're still into different fandoms and all that. Oop, let me check on the music here. It's doing good. Checking on OBS. Still doing good. Cool. gonna stop enjoying or stop doing drawing in general just because I'm getting older. And neither should you. Yes, I think it's really silly that, oh, well, you're over the age of 21 now. You no longer need to have any fun. You're this old, you have to focus on bills and all that. I do. Still ain't stopping me from doing fan art and stuff. That's the thing, we do focus on bills and taxes and different family members and all that. We just still like to enjoy our hobbies on the side. Think you're this old? You still watch cartoons? Indeed I do. And also, Animal Planet. I mean, my friend. Who do you think built it? Who do you think gave you all the cartoons and all the fandoms in the first place? Like that old Aslan meme, I was there when it was written. Literally. Like, don't quote your evil spell. Not even. Yeah, don't quote your evil spells on me. Wish I was there when it was written. Really, in my honest opinion, we all need more whimsy in our lives. As you already know right now, things are way too depressing. Like, extremely so. And the sad part is, all of this situation we're in right now, pretty sure you probably know what I'm talking about economy-wise, it could have been prevented and fixed. But what can you do? Alright, so far so good. This is turning out pretty good. Like this bit reminds me a little bit of Sonic. see here. I'm looking forward to when the rains come. In my neck of the woods, we get monsoons. Luckily, they're usually not too bad. Admittedly, yeah, it does get annoying if the storm knocks out your power. But still. Honestly, we do need the rain. Let's see. Oh, there was another game I had an interest in playing, but I'm kind of hesitant of playing it because of how difficult it can be. If you ever heard of it, it's called Rain World. And let me tell you, the whole lore behind it really fascinates me. Like, it's a whole ecosystem changed from the extreme weather. Tell me more. Yeah, that game can be a little difficult to get through. But I watched plenty of lore videos about it. Especially to those who kind of dedicated their channels to talk about it and all that. And I pretty much know all the story. Still. It's really cool though. It's kind of hard for me to choose which of my favorite chapters of the whole Rain World franchise that I like. See, The Watcher was very interesting. Very sad story, though. And then there's the, darn. Oh! Sorry if I didn't catch this in the beginning. Hello, Jojo! Let's see. Which Slack Cat did I like? Is he called the Monk? No, not the Monk. God, I'm trying to remember. Well, all of them are pretty good in their own way. Different types of difficulty. But yeah, Rain World for me, it's more like I'd rather watch someone else play it just to see what to do. Excuse me. Now there's also another game called Animal Well, which that game looks very pretty. However, the difficulty relies in the puzzles. And after seeing a quick gameplay of it, where the puzzles can be so difficult that the certain player had to go into the Animal Well community to figure out what this last hidden puzzle and how to solve it. Pretty sure they did a whole YouTube review about that. I'm like, sheesh, a puzzle game that's that difficult. But yeah, it's a very pretty pixelated game. And also very recent, little bit of recently, or maybe just a couple of days, or maybe a couple of weeks ago, I finished off the game, Berry. And yep, that game is still very addictive. Although granted, I had to look up on how to solve some of the puzzles for that game. Or, not the puzzles, but yeah, they're still counted as puzzles, yeah. I'm trying to solve the puzzles of that game, because yeah, some of it had me a little stumped. But it does have good replay value. I haven't gotten all the achievements for that game yet. Checking on the music. Checking on OBS. There you go. know once I get started with Simon Smoke, I might end up being here for a little bit. Making sure everything's all there. Cool, cool. She's nearly there. I'll do this part in the same layer. It's fine. Okay, remember to save. Seems pretty good. And oops. Too dark. Okay. Let's see. They already started firing off the fireworks. Which, for my 4th of July, I'm just gonna relax. Really? I get a good view of the fireworks straight from my own house, actually. Still remember from years ago when my mom used to drive me and my sibling across the city just to look at the different fireworks that everyone has. Well, not across the city, more like through the neighborhoods. I'll say those were fun times. Oh, memories. Also, yeah, me and my best buddy played Peak together for the first time. And we won. Yeah, the game's stressful, but it is a lot of fun. Honestly, when doing it by yourself, when playing Peak by yourself, it's a lot like you're on your own personal mission. Just to see how far you can go. But I played it with other... Yes. Yes, it was. Oh, for those who do not know, Jojo is one of my besties. They drop in whenever they can, whenever I stream. But yes, Peak can be stressful. Now imagine that with multiple players other than 2. Because I once played it with 3 other people. We managed to beat the game, but me, I was still a newbie. Well, I still am. That's the one of the ultimate guides of teamwork. Also, a little subject change. I think I mentioned this in my other stream before. Sometimes brain fart, cannot remember. But the one style I have the hardest trying to implement would be the anime style, to tell you the truth. Style's challenging in its own way. Do I still try? Of course I do. And sometimes it's fun just to try out your own type of style, just to mix it in. Joelle Lim, hello, welcome to the stream. And yes, it's Baba Chops. Alright, that's looking pretty good. I'll experiment with the background a little bit. How will it feel if I add in a bit of blue? Actually, that might work a lot better. If I make it slightly darker. Yeah, cool. That works. Little side note topic here. Kinda pretty glad that figured out how to cook up my own tasty dish of Shin Ramen. And I do mean spicy. Oop. Let me start the music again. There we go. cook up my ramen, let's see. First, I go on ahead and boil up the noodles and put them to the side so they don't get so soggy. And then I add in the seasonings, spicy packets and all that. Add in the soy sauce. Soy sauce, onion, garlic, and sesame seed oil. And sometimes a dash of seasoned salt and Cajun seasoning. And then, as for the meat, since I usually can't find, it's kind of hard to find the type of meats that they always use for ramen. So I go with deli meat instead. And it mixes in so well. So I remember having shin ramen with crab. With boiled crab. That was really good. Nice. Looking pretty nice. Pretty nice. Remember to start picking myself up some dumplings. That'd be a nice little combo. Fix this up just a little bit more. Me using a glow effect? What's that? No, let me lower the brightness on the shadows just a little bit. Let's see. Oop. There you go. See the contrast here. Ah, that's why. Gotta deselect that and see the contrast and the brightness. Just want to lower it just a little bit more. It's turning out a lot better than I thought. It's just a little bit. Try like this. Alright. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. And let me find another lighting reference. Dee Dee, where are ya? There you are. And this is very bright. Which really works for him. Yeah, I'll just shrink it down for now. And let me see that one more time. Shadows here. Still very light on the shadow. On the lighting. Shine, shine, shine. Alright. I've been recording for at least a solid 2 hours. Honestly, compared to the others, this is probably one of the quicker streams that I've done. Better not keep talking about food. Now I'm getting hungry. Luckily, I made plenty of leftovers. So once I'm done, I'll go ahead and eat some dinner. It's a lot brighter, so the lens lighting works. Maybe like this. Actually, how did I do the design for Catnap? Got it. That's our string instead, like this. Sorry if I got silent, just in deep concentration. Have a good night, Jojo. You know, if only I could sell these designs as stickers, that would be a lot of fun. But I'm not sure what the rules are when it comes to copyright. So I'd rather not try to take that risk. Although I do know people who made their own merch of their own fan art and AUs and stuff. Maybe. It has been on my mind for a good long while. It wouldn't cost that. Wouldn't really cost all that much, really. Anyway. Okay, I'd say that's pretty good. Go on ahead and say my name. Alright. And woof. And yes, the hunger, it's starting to overtake. Alright, I'd say that's pretty good for now. Actually, I'd say I'm pretty much all done. I liked how this one turned out. Very simple. Alright then, everyone. to those who stop by or stuck around. Thank you so much for coming by and watching the stream. Really do appreciate it. I'm gonna go ahead and stop the stream so I can go ahead and give myself something to eat.